India's youngest chartered accountant.
I had more than 42 mentors from around the world who tutored me in math. I went on to be the youngest ever performer in the world to do this rare feat in mathematics. We explored around the market, around Hyderabad, and to my surprise, except a geometry box, we couldn't find any other tool for mathematics subject. So that's when I began my research to develop India's first mathematics lab. When I question any child, why are we even learning trigonometry? Classroom is silent. That is the reality. How many children know that the maps work on our basic 8th class coordinate geometry? I have completed my grades 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th in just one academic year. How could age be a number to give me an opportunity to sit for an exam? So what I realized is more than hard work, more than focus, more than all this, patience is very much important and willpower is most important to achieve the success.
Hi, Nischal. It's great to actually connect with you. I know that we have had a long chat sometime back, but it's been a while that we, been wanting to connect with you, have this chat with you, and finally we are here. So it's I would not say great honor. You are still such a young guy, but definitely, it's really, really exciting to have Nischal with us.
Thank you.
I will, talk about a little of your, you are a sort of a child prodigy, and you are a young man now. But I do have to tell the listeners a little bit about you, so that we start on exactly the same. Where people, the way that I know of you, that people should also get a little glimpse into why do I call you as a child prodigy, a mathematics prodigy. I mean, guys, Nischal has been the India's youngest chartered accountant. He is a double Guinness World Record holder in memory. He started his venture, which he is currently leading at the age of 15. And he is a math wizard. Now, all these itself, are hugely remarkable achievements which Nischal has had. But that's not where it ends. He got an award, a gold medal by the former President of India, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, at the age of 9. He can, perform the highly intricate Ganitha Asta Vadanam, a rare feat in mathematics with 108. Now, it's only Nischal who can explain that to us, and I will not even attempt that. But the core thing is that, the way that it sounds, of course, it sounds like that these are 5 things, 10 things that Nischal has achieved. But I'll tell you, if you look at each one of them, none of us would have achieved, even one of them, and he has, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and so many more achievements, I'm sure, which I'm not even aware of. But it's such a huge excitement to actually have you with us today. The best part is that I would still like you to tell us a little bit more about these things that I mentioned. It was just a quick mention that I wanted to make, but we would like you to tell us a little bit more in detail, because each of these actually deserve, for us to understand better that what each of these actually mean and what is it that you have achieved. And it's really, like I said, that I'm repeating myself, but really great to connect with you, Nischal, and have you on our podcast today.
Thank you. It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much for the introduction. And I thank you and your team for having me here today. So just to give you a brief introduction about my profile, my journey. So I've been very passionate about mathematics since my childhood. So my journey began at the age of 9. In fact, everything that happened in my journey was pretty much accidental. Nothing was kind of planned earlier. So one thing led to another. So when I was about 9 years old, that's when my journey began in the field of mathematics. I was at home one day. I was back from school. I was in my grade 4. I was just playing around with my father. So I come from a business family. So my father just got back from office, and he was just going through his accounts, statements, and financials. So I was just kind of playing around at the same time, and out of curiosity, I asked him to explain me these account statements, the balance sheet, and the P&L account, and different things. And I just noticed one calculation mistake in that statement. And my parents were kind of pretty. They took it very easy. They were kind of shocked, but they took it very easy that it must be wrong. But next day when they got back to office and when they cross checked, it indeed was a mistake. And that's when they were kind of amazed. They were like, whatever the passion I have towards mathematics, whatever the talent I have naturally as well, if you can nurture this talent in the right direction, and if you can channelize this in the right direction, then I would definitely achieve something great in this field. That's what they believed. And at the age of 9, my mother, especially, she did so much of research, and she's an academician. She's done her PhD in Sanskrit literature. So she is the one who's believed that if we could nurture this talent in the right direction, I could achieve something great in the field of mathematics. So she did a lot of research. She, in fact, got me trained in the various methodologies of mathematics, like the Indian Vedic mathematics, the Chinese systems, the German, Scottish, Russian, Arabic, so many methodologies of mathematics. And it was like kind of throwing a frog out of a well into an ocean. I got immense exposure. I had more than 42 mentors from around the world who tutored me in math, who mentored me. And very proudly, I can say that after almost 1.5 year of research and mentoring, I went on to perform this rare feat called Ganitavadhanam in the field of math. So, as you know, Ganit is math, and Avadhanam, it's Sanskrit word which means it's a test for human concentration. So it's the ultimate test for human concentration, and usually a lot of people perform avadhanam in the field of literature, in the field of poetry. Various gurus and literature pundits, they perform in that field, but in the field of mathematics, something very unique. So it's basically Shatavadhanam means 108 answer seekers are around the performer, and they question different they pose different questions in the field of mathematics to the performer, and the performer has to answer all the questions mentally and simultaneously, so without using any pen or paper or calculator. So I kind of performed this rare feat at the age of 9 with 108 performers, I mean answer seekers, and I went on to be the youngest ever performer in the world to do this feat, this rare feat in mathematics. And back then, our Andhra Pradesh governor, Sri Sushil Kumar Shindeji, was the chief guest. In his presence, I gave my debut performance in front of 10,000 people in Hyderabad, and that's when my journey began. And after that, I wanted to kind of share my knowledge with my fellow friends, and whatever I got from my teacher, I wanted to share that knowledge with my fellow friends. That's when I decided to author books on school mathematics, and also I published them in the age of just 10 years in 2006. So yeah, that was the kind of beginning of my journey.
No, amazing, just Nischal. And so tell me this: do you believe that this is something? So, like you said, that you, of course, had a basic passion for mathematics, and but you did get tutored by some of the best tutors across the world, and your mother was a big driving force in making this happen for you. Now, mathematics is something which is, people are so scared of mathematics, right? And there is a, you know, like for many things, they basically say that there are two kinds of people in many aspects. So again, there are two kinds of people: people who enjoy mathematics and people who are scared of mathematics, right? And because there is nothing in between that that you know some basic mathematics or fine or whatever, but it is always that you either enjoy, love, mathematics, or you simply hate mathematics. And that goes for many people also in the world, that you either love him or you hate him. But similar is mathematics. Uh, Tell me that is mathematics sort of a thing where you require basic capabilities and then you can build on top of it. So I'm basically asking from the perspective of people who, let's say, hate mathematics. Do you think a person who hates mathematics could actually at some point in time become a mathematics wizard by getting in the right tutors, getting in the right, direction, and etc.? Is that a possibility?
Absolutely. I think I strongly believe that it's not about the learners. Learners, I mean, all the children are obviously like they're like a clean slate, and they don't come with a preconceived notion that I hate math or I love math. I think it's all about the journey. It's about the learning journey, and I strongly believe that most of the students, yes, it's a fact that a lot of kids have math phobia. A lot of adults also have math phobia, but I strongly believe that that's because of the way it was taught back in school. In fact, uh, that was the kind of a turning point in my career as well, observing the conventional teaching methodology of how math was being taught in school in the classroom. And obviously, see, first of all, math is a subject which can be taught in a very practical way. We need not resort to a kind of an abstract rote learning by hearting way of approach. And for decades together, it's always been the same, where kind of the students mug up the formulas or the concepts without really understanding the concept in detail, in depth, and they just mug up the formulas or the theorems for the sake of clearing an exam, and then they forget about it.
Yes. Yes.
So first of all, I think was a simple experience I will share with you. I was in my class five, and I was in my math period. So my math teacher came to the class, and so as you know, basically till class four and class five, the math what is taught in the school is kind of very much basic. It only revolves around basic arithmetic and basic concepts. But from class five onwards and six onwards, you kind of start getting into little more complex topics. You start learning geometry. You start learning 3D geometry like mensuration. You start learning trigonometry, algebra, different branches of mathematics we are exposed to. And if that foundation at the right age, that's grade five, grade six at that time, the foundation is not laid properly, then that phobia builds up forever. And that's very, very dangerous. I'm
Correct.
very serious.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
because the
Yes.
thing
Yes.
is,
Absolutely.
we are kind of in a spiral education system, and whether you take a grade five textbook or a grade 10 textbook, the kind of chapters are the same. We have arithmetic, we have algebra, we have trigonometry, we have mensuration. So every year we just kind of go much more in detail, in depth for the basic concepts, and we kind of learn new things in the same chapter. But the
Correct.
foundation is what is very, very important. So when I was in my class five, when I was in my math period, we were being taught a mensuration for the first time. That is three-dimensional geometry, and my math teacher was basically trying to draw all these three-dimensional shapes on the blackboard, like a cube and a cuboid and a sphere. So obviously, it's very easy to represent a square, not a cube. It's very easy to draw a rectangle, not a cuboid. It's very easy to draw a
Correct.
circle, not a sphere, on a 2D shaped blackboard. So my friends were kind of finding it very difficult to understand what is this height, what is the third dimension, and what is the difference between area or volume, all these things. So I came back home and I asked my mother, do we have any tools for mathematics? Do we have any 3D models? So this was back in 2005. And we explored around the market around Hyderabad. And to my surprise, except a geometry box, we couldn't find any other tool for mathematics subject. I was pretty much shocked that
Okay. Hmm.
when we have laboratories for say sciences like physics or chemistry or biology, and sciences could be taught in a practical way. Why not for math?
Mhm.
And that's when my
Mhm.
whole kind of ideology changed, and
Right.
I was like, why couldn't we teach mathematics in a practical way, with activity-based learning, with hands-on learning, with experimental learning, and with an interactive way, instead of just a chalk and talk approach on a blackboard. So that's when I began my research to develop India's
Mhm.
first mathematics lab,
Mhm.
where for every concept
Mhm.
being taught in the school, I used to come back home, sit with a carpenter, take the help of my teachers, take the help of my parents whenever required, and we used to come up with a lot of prototypes, a lot of models. So for every
Mhm.
branch of math, say arithmetic to algebra to geometry to trigonometry, to every branch, we developed models, and
Mhm.
almost after one and a
Mhm.
half year of research. Very proudly, I can say
Mhm.
that I've launched India's first mathematics lab into the Indian market, and appreciating my research
Mhm.
and my contribution to the subject. The then president, Sri Abdul Kalam
Mhm.
ji, has honored me with the National Child Award, which is the highest award given to children under the age of 16 years in India. So,
Mhm.
this is a kind of brief journey
No,
about my journey with.
amazing, Nishal. I mean, I'm telling you that every feat of yours that you tell us, right? Everything that you've achieved and the kind of approach that you have had is so remarkable and
Thank
so unique that it is. Um, I would say this that your thoughts, as far as how to learn mathematics and how to do away with the fears of mathematics and etc., need to reach out to as many children as possible in some way or the other. I understand that of course, you have your own venture, and we will talk about it for sure, and
Yeah.
etc. But the kind of confidence that you give about learning mathematics in a completely different way as compared to what the children are exposed to today, right?
Yes.
And because of which, like you rightly said, that some of the kids develop a sort of a perennial fear of mathematics, right? And that
Yes.
is very sad, and in fact, quite detrimental to the society per se, because mathematics is the in and out of life, for us in many ways,
Absolutely.
etc.
Absolutely.
So, one thing that I would love to hear from you is tell us one example, right?
So,
One example of any mathematical concept, right, which is still continued to be treated in a theoretical manner, while you have developed a practical approach to it. So, how do you do it, and why do you feel that a child will be able to understand that concept far, far better through the practical approach that you have taken as compared to a pure theoretical?
absolutely, sure. So, as you rightly said, mathematics is everywhere. It is the language of universe. I think that's the perfect way to describe it. Uh, it is an integral part of every subject, whether it is sciences, arts, any stream, any career. It is truly the language of universe. So obviously, every
Yes.
child has to develop
Yes.
the logical thinking, that critical thinking skills, the problem solving skills, no matter what path they choose professionally. Coming to giving a small example of how the math lab works. So first of all, it
Yes.
has been scientifically proven by many child psychologists that compared to the conventional
Mhm.
auditory and visual learning, which is only effective up to 50 to 60%, kinesthetic learning is far, far more effective, far more impactful. So obviously, auditory learning is learning by hearing, visual is learning by seeing,
Yeah.
but kinesthetic learning is learning by doing.
Correct.
So learning by doing
Mhm.
is time and again has been proven to be a far more effective way to learn something, have a better grasp over the subject, have a longer retention
Mhm.
and a better recollection. So in all
Mhm.
parameters,
Mhm.
and in fact, it has been quantified also that it is a kid understand only 50% by hearing, up to 70% by seeing, but 100% by doing. Even it's been quantified. Just to give you a small example, say in math we have trigonometry, for example. So the conventional way of teaching trigonometry is to draw a right angle triangle on a blackboard and explain
Yes.
what are the three sides and just kind of mug up
Yes.
what is sine, cos, tan, theta formulas. But
Correct.
when I question any child, why are we even learning trigonometry? The classroom is silent. That is the reality. Why are we
Absolutely.
even learning it?
Absolutely.
What is the use of
Yes.
it? How do we apply it in
Correct.
real life? The
Correct.
classroom is silent. So the same
Yes.
trigonometry, now what we learn on the blackboard is applied in every area in real life. Now, starting from construction of a building to a construction of a bridge, or to even measure height of a Mount Everest. So many areas
Mm-hmm.
it's applicable. So in our math lab,
Mm-hmm.
what we do is that we actually have one tool called Trundle wheel to measure
Okay.
distances in a room, and then we have one instrument
Okay.
called clinometer, which kind of
Mm-hmm.
is helpful to measure the angle of elevation or angle of depression. And then, with the help
Mm-hmm.
of both these instruments, we calculate the heights, we calculate the distances, we calculate all the sine, cos, tan, theta formulas, and we derive practically.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
in the same way, for example, there's a coordinate geometry. Uh,
Yes.
uh, on a blackboard, it is taught what is x-axis, what is y-axis, all these things. But what is straight line equation, y is equal to mx plus c, all these things we just kind of by heart. But when I ask the children, why are we even learning this concept and how it is useful in real life? Again, it's pretty much silent. Today,
Correct.
we all use Google Maps. It's kind of we are handicapped without maps, without navigation. If
Yes.
you go to a
Yes.
new
Yes.
city or area,
Yes.
how many children know that the maps work on our basic eighth class coordinate geometry? So today, if India is sending a satellite into space or a rover onto the moon, uh, or we are using our navigation day to day. It's all coordinate geometry, what we learn in our basic high school level. And in the same way, now, for example, we learn say logarithm tables. So
Mm-hmm.
we kind of by heart the whole concept. But today, if you
Yes.
observe, log tables are used starting from an earthquake Richter scale measurement to a sound decibel measurement in every area. Like this I can go on. There's
Correct.
every
Correct. Correct.
every concept we learn is very much
Mm-hmm.
applicable and relevant to the real life. So what is missing is the correlation between theoretical knowledge and the real life application, and the math lab
Mm-hmm.
perfectly bridges this gap. So what
Mm-hmm.
we do is that for every concept we demonstrate that a formula or the experiment with a practical proof, with an
Mm-hmm.
instrument and equipment, and then
Mm-hmm.
correlate that example with a real life scenario.
Excellent.
That's the kind of pedagogical approach what we have built around it. And
No,
just to give a
correct.
small
That's, I
example,
mean,
like
yeah,
especially
yeah.
in algebra, in fact,
Mm-hmm.
in Telugu, there's a famous saying called
Mm-hmm.
algebra gunde gabara in Telugu in our mother tongue. What it
Mm-hmm.
means
Okay.
is that so gunde means heart, gabara
Okay.
means tension, so it's like a stress. So
Uh-huh.
algebra causes stress in the heart. It's
Ah,
a common saying among kids here. Algebra
correct.
gunde gabara. So.
Um,
Uh, a very innovative instrument what developed for algebra, something called algebraic tiles. It's one of the tool in the math lab.
mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
one of the concept we have is something called in eighth class, it is factorization of quadratic
Mm-hmm.
equations. So, like say
Mm-hmm.
you take any equation, like say x square plus 5x plus c, something like that. So there are kind of three terms,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of by heart
Mm-hmm.
that factorization process with a formula called minus b root b square minus 4ac by 2a. So, so the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, we have developed an alternative way to teach this, where we have a physical instrument called algebraic tiles. So instead of minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac by 2, instead of using that formula, what we do is that,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, we explain that why is this equation even called a quadratic equation? And then immediately the child recollects that, okay, I've heard this quadratic somewhere else. I've heard it in geometry. So in geometry, we've learned about polygons like triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagon, hexagon, different these things, types of polygons. So the child immediately asks, okay, is this quadratic equation anyway linked to the term quadrilateral we learned in geometry? We say
Okay.
yes, it is very much interlinked. The
Okay.
equation is a quadratic equation only when it can be represented as a quadrilateral,
Mhm.
like a rectangle or a
Mhm.
square. And what we
Mhm.
do is that we actually represent that equation as a rectangle or as a square with our individual
Mhm.
tiles. And then we demonstrate that the factors of this equation are nothing but the length and the breadth of this rectangle. When you multiply length and the breadth, you get the uh,
Okay.
area. So that area is nothing but the
Mhm.
equation. So without even using the formula, we first explain in a
Correct.
practical way so that the visualization is clear. And then we come to the theoretical part.
The
So
theoretical part. No, this is brilliant, Nischal, and I am hoping that if you had been my teacher when I was a child, that so I do love math. Not necessarily like every aspect of and every topic of mathematics, but I do find it to be extremely powerful, of course, as a subject. And I used to be reasonably good at mathematics, but like you said, that it was more so from the theoretical learning of mathematics.
correct.
And that is where it was. But today, I feel after talking to you that if we had this sort of an approach where, there was someone explaining in such a practical manner and we
Yes.
were able to visualize mathematics rather than just doing rote learning, right?
Yes. Yes.
How brilliant that would have been for, us. And I would really hope that, the venture which you have, and we'll just talk about that venture also,
Yeah.
can actually reach out to as many more children and help them not only it is about the fear of mathematics, but to be able to really appreciate the subject and to be able to visualize the subject and and
Enjoy the
enjoy the
subject.
subject.
Yes.
Yes, yes, exactly, and enjoy the subject rather than being so fearful. So thanks a lot, Nischal. I mean, it's always amazing to talk to you about mathematics and the kind of,
Absolutely.
the aspects that you bring out of mathematics is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Now, and so we have, of course, talked about the brilliant achievements that you have had, right? Amazing achievements that you have had. But we all know that these achievements are just something that we all see and we appreciate and we applaud you about. But the kind of hard work and some of the failures that you would have gone through, right? And the struggles that you would have gone through to achieve where you are today, that makes it, for many people that it was not always hunky dory and will not always be hunky dory, right? That there would be challenges that you would have faced and etc. I would like you to highlight a couple of those challenges that you have met across your life in reaching where you are today, because it just helps people understand that there are failures and challenges in everybody's life. It is about how you scale them.
No, absolutely. It's never been a cakewalk, obviously. Every achievement throughout my journey has had a lot of hard work, a perseverance, and a lot of struggles behind the screen, obviously. I think, first of all, just to kind of give you a glimpse, even with respect to developing the math lab, it was not an easy task because whatever I had in my mind, trying to explain to others, trying to kind of make it as simple as possible so that even a layman could understand, and then we could come up with a kind of a full-fledged product. So today it has almost like 5,000 plus tools and almost 2,000 plus experiments we have designed, and it's a huge kind of ecosystem. So obviously in R&D there were several struggles in terms of finding the right team, finding the right collaborative minds, explaining my thought process, and then coming up with a prototype, having multiple iterations for that product, and then making it a feasible product, even commercially, from a business point of view. Every stage there was a lot of struggles, not only professionally but in terms of personal achievement, like as you as rightly said. I mean, apart from my achievement in the field of mathematics, I've achieved both the Guinness World Records in the field of memory and being the youngest postgraduate in mathematics. I did my master's in mathematics by the age of 18 years, and then
Mhm.
I became the youngest CA in India by 19 years. So there was a sense of obviously, like a lot of expectation, at the same time a disbelief among a lot of people whether it's actually I can achieve it or not. To give you a simple one example, up till my seventh grade, I was in ICSE board, the Indian board, in my school, and then after my seventh grade, I shifted to the Cambridge University board, which is the UK board. It's called the IGCSE, and I've completed my grades 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th in just one academic year. And
Oh, wow.
8th to 12th, just one academic year. My school teachers, for first of all, not even ready to put me up for the board exam. They were quite scared. But then I told them, let me write a mock exam and then I'll prove myself and then let me attempt the main board exam. So, and I had to take special permission from the Cambridge University to kind of complete all the 5 grades in just one academic year and write all the board exams. So in the first 6 months, I completed my 8th, 9th, and 10th. In the next 6 months, I completed my 11th and 12th. That was a
Okay.
very challenging journey. After that, I wanted to go to the UK for my undergraduation, and I got admitted into all the top universities in the UK. But unfortunately, the student visa issuing agency, that the UCAS, has denied the student visa, saying that I was underaged. You're like
Oh,
17,
okay.
18. You're usually like 17, 18 when you're done with your 12th and you join undergrad. I was about
Correct.
just about 12 years. So
Correct.
they insisted that I should be accompanied by a parent guardian throughout my undergraduation, throughout my 4 years of journey. That wasn't
uh,
possible, obviously. So I had to stay back in India. And that's when I
uh,
started my undergraduation and my master's. So in Hyderabad, Usman University, I completed my bachelor's. By 16, I became youngest graduate. And of course, that also I had to take special permission, write multiple mock exams, then get the opportunity to even get the admission into the
mhm,
university. And then after completing my undergrad by 16, by 18, I did my MSc Mathematics. And at the same time, along with Masters in Maths, I pursued my chartered accountancy. So chartered accountancy was a very intense journey. It's a 5 years course, as you all know, with a hardly a pass percentage of less than 4 to 5% on an average. So I had to take special permission from the CA Institute, and there were again a lot of disbelief, lot of challenges, there are a lot of question marks in the minds of many people whether I could do it or
mhm,
not. But again, I had to
mhm,
prove myself and then take special permission, then attempt the exam. I was like, how could age be a number to
mhm.
give me an opportunity to sit for an exam?
Correct.
Exam is the same
Correct.
for everyone. So let me write the exam.
Correct.
If I clear, it's good. Otherwise, no.
Correct.
But how can you deny an opportunity to someone because you're not
Yes.
required age? So
Yes.
I had to kind of fight my way. But at the same time, I've realized that, especially in CA journey, as you know, in the CA final, it's a 3 years journey after completing our CA the CA final is 3 years journey. So we have to do articleship, like an internship in an audit firm. So I was working in Deloitte. I was the
Mhm,
youngest employee globally in Deloitte. I started my work at the age of 15 years. And
mhm,
from 15 to 18, 3 years, I did my articleship. Only then you get the eligibility to write your final exam. So then I wrote my
mhm,
final and I became CA by 19. So in this 3 years, it was, I realized one thing is that from morning 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., we have our CA coaching classes for final. Then 10 to 6, we have our office. I used to have a Deloitte auditing. And then evening 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., again, we have classes. So this was the kind of routine for 3 years. So when I realized that this journey is very intense, I also realized that when you say there's only 4% of pass percentage or 5% pass percentage, the rest of the 95 people are not failing because of the professional incompetency or academic incompetency, but they're failing in this process. 3 years are working for 18 hours a day from 6 a.m. to night 11 p.m. almost every day. This journey is so intense that people give up. They kind of lose patience. They become impatient and they kind of give up in between. So what I realized is more than hard work, more than focus, more than all this, patience is very much important, and willpower is most important to achieve the success and to overcome every struggle. And if you have that perseverance and willpower, you can achieve anything you want to. That's what I've realized in this journey. Yeah.
Oh, excellent, excellent. And Nishal, you did talk about that age is just a number, right? And you have actually proven it from the other side of the spectrum, where at extremely young age you were achieving significant, feats, while people like me are trying to prove that age is just a number on the other side,
No,
right?
no.
That after 50, there were so many people that I have, commenced my third startup after the age of 50, right? So I tell them the same thing, that age is just a number. That, you can start out, there is no age to start off a particular and have a startup and start a new journey for that matter. But you did it from the young number, and I'm doing it from the old number. So
No,
both
your
of us are
journey is
trying to
so
prove.
your journey is so
No, both
inspiring
of us
and
are trying to, yeah, we both of us trying to prove the same, equation, but from two different methods. So,
yeah. No, absolutely. Your journey is so inspiring. I mean, I've been reading so much about you and I've had the pleasure of speaking to you earlier. So definitely, definitely. I mean, very inspiring for the next generation. Absolutely.
no, yes, I mean, of course, I really hope to meet you, soon.
Yes,
And there is so much more to talk about. And of course, this podcast is highly limited in what all we can discuss. But there are so many things that I would love to have a chat with you. And, that is one of the great benefits of having this podcast, that you come across so many interesting people
yep.
and their
Yeah,
interesting journeys and their interesting experiences,
very true.
that of course the podcast is just not enough to cover all of that, but it's just interacting with. So even at my current age of 55, I find these stories so inspiring, so exciting. Of and most of the people that I actually have at the podcast are younger than me, and but yet I find their journeys to be so exciting, so amazing, and so much to learn from. The kind of experiences that you talk about, and with you, I mean, it's a great problem that you are actually solving, and which is nobody possibly realizes it, and they feel that, oh, if you like maths, then fine, go do maths. If you do not like math, then just go ahead and drop it.
Correct.
But you are really solving a problem there. It's an existing problem. It's an extremely large problem which you are solving, and I really appreciate the way that you are actually doing it by
Thank you.
setting an
If
example
you
yourself.
start in the right way, I believe everybody would love the subject.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, absolutely. So tell me, Nishal, it's of course very obvious that mathematics is your passion and mathematics is your life, and you have been doing a whole lot more in mathematics, and you will continue to do that, and you have achieved so much in mathematics. But tell me, do you have any other hobbies, any other things which interest you or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, again, interesting question. So, I've always enjoyed a lot of mind sports. So, just as we have physical sports, I've always enjoyed a lot of mind sports. So,
Mm-hmm.
at a very young age, I got exposed to this mind sport called photographic memory. Again, a lot of people, a lot of us, we have a preconceived notion, a misconception that
Mm-hmm.
memory is a natural skill, whether
Mm-hmm.
it is good or bad by birth. Either you have a
Mm-hmm.
good memory or a bad memory, but that is not
Yeah.
the case. It's actually
Yeah.
either you have trained memory or untrained memory.
Mhm.
That's the right way to put it
Yeah.
across. And in fact, memory is a very, very interesting mind sport. So when I was about 11 years old, I
Mhm.
got exposed to this mind sport for the first time. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, I went to a conference about photograph memory, and then I saw my teacher, who eventually went on to become my teacher in the field of memory, do a memory show. I was quite
Mhm.
inspired, and then I met him, and then I was like, I want to learn this skill, and I want to do something great in this field. And
Mhm.
when I started my journey,
Mhm.
basically, I think the underlying principle is that the human mind understands only the language of pictures. That's scientifically proven. So
Mhm.
whether you read something, whether you hear something, subconsciously, you always kind of convert that information into pictures and trying to visualize it.
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
example, I see a statement, a random statement, say,
Mhm.
Gandhiji is protesting against the Britishers with thousands of people. Automatically a visual comes to your mind that he's marching past
Correct.
thousands of members. You wouldn't get a
Correct.
spelling of Gandh like this, right? So
Correct.
human mind always converts any information into pictures. So this photographic memory is a series of scientific techniques how to convert any information into pictures and remember that
Yeah.
information in a systematic sequence in our human mind. So
Mhm.
I went on to get trained and then I mastered this mind sport. I went on to achieve my first Guinness World Record in the field of memory at the age of 11 for memorizing 225 random objects in just 12 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
my second Guinness World Record was for memorizing 132 numbers in just
Mhm.
60 seconds, 1 minute, by the age of 13
Oh,
years.
wow.
So
Wow.
by 13, I became the youngest double Guinness record holder in the field of memory in the world. And also, very interesting thing is that I also became the first Indian to win the World Memory Championship representing
Oh.
our country. I became the first Indian. So, but at the age of 12 years, I went on to participate in the World Memory Championship back in 2007. It was in Bahrain.
Mhm.
And obviously, the
Okay.
top memorizers from around the world have come to showcase their skills. It was a very big 3 day event. And I represented India and I won the gold medal. It was a very proud achievement. And appreciate.
Fantastic. And actually, I did see your, that TEDx which you had at I think at
Yes, yes, I gave a small memory show in that TED talk. Yes,
Hyderabad and etc. I
yes,
did watch it, and I was wondering. So you have to give me one little trick that when you say that you actually convert every statement, everything into pictures, right?
yes.
And that is how you possibly remember as. So when you
Guinness
look at these
records, yes.
numbers, right? So how are you converting a number into a picture? You have to tell me that.
So basically, just to give you a small insight, it is not just
Mhm.
numbers, it is any information. So in the
Mhm.
World Memory Championship, we had to showcase our skill. Every performer has showcased the skill in different categories. So we had to
Okay.
memorize numbers, numbers also binary numbers, and even random numbers.
Mhm.
And then we had to memorize even names and places,
Mhm.
dates, and we had to
Mhm.
memorize historical days, and then abstract images, random objects, and even
Mhm.
uh, packs of cards and arranged in the same sequence and multiple categories. So the thing is, uh, 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 basically, photographic memory, we have multiple techniques like peg word system. There's something called as a journey system where
Mhm.
we use phonetics and we
Mhm.
assign a different picture, an image, or an object
Mhm.
to every
Mhm.
number. And
Okay.
then we kind of build a story
Mhm.
among the objects for every number.
Mhm.
So, for example, in
Mhm.
my mind, say
Mhm.
number one means a tie, and number two
A
means,
tie.
yes, number two means a
Okay.
knee, a human knee. So, with the
Okay.
help of this phonetics,
Uh-huh.
we come up with different pictures and say,
Uh-huh.
for me, the number 99 means a baby. So we kind of
Okay.
first master the skill, and then say, for
Okay.
example, uh, th- there are two digits, says 0199.
Uh,
Then
uh.
I link both the numbers that as if a baby is wearing a tie, and then remember it. That's how
But how would you remember that it was 9901 or it was 0199? So how do you
yeah.
remember the sequence?
Exactly. So that sequence is very important. So first you get a tie, and then a baby is taking the tie. So that sequence is most
Achha.
important. Yeah, yeah. So our tie is being put on a baby. So like the so that
Okay.
sequence, that story. So it's all about
Okay.
creativity and building a nice, funny story around the images. And obviously, I've given a very simple example,
Okay. So now tell me,
but
I'll just give you
it's quite
randomly
intense.
three numbers, right? Excuse me. I'll give you just three numbers, right? And you have to tell me that what is the kind of story that you built with those three numbers, right?
Yeah.
So let me give you 42.
Okay. 42 in my mind is actually a rainfall.
Rainfall. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you have like for every number. Okay.
Yeah.
50, 56.
56, in fact, in my mind is actually leeches.
Leeches. Oh, so
Yes,
that's
yes,
very relatable then.
kind of,
Rainfall and
yeah.
leeches is very relatable. Okay. And then 368.
So again, simple thing, we break it out down
Ah,
into two numbers each.
okay.
So 36, let's say 36, for example, and we take two
Yes.
numbers at a time. And
Yes.
then the last number is an individual number. So for example, 36, in fact, for in my mind is a
Mhm.
cricket match.
Oh,
And the number eight, the last
uh-huh.
number eight, is actually in my mind, it's money, physical cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. So I have already built a story along with you
I'm
that,
sure,
during
exactly.
the rainy
In
season,
fact,
there are
every child
leeches
can come
on
up
the
with.
ground, but there's a cricket match which is happening. And after winning the cricket match, there is money to be won, right?
Exactly. Or you
Uh,
can say because of rainfall, match got cancelled and they have to pay back the money to the audience, something like that.
yes, absolutely.
So what I'm
Arre,
trying
that's
to
brilliant. That's brilliant.
what
So
I'm trying to say
for
is,
every
yeah,
single number and for a double number,
yeah,
you have image, right?
yeah,
And so you basically have to, let's say, just learn images from 1 to 99,
yeah, kind of.
correct?
That's it.
And
Yes.
then whatever the number that might be, you can actually create a sequence of a story and with the images that you have around them and etc.
So this is one way of remembering. This is called the peg word
Okay.
association system. Like this, there are many other
Yes.
methods. When we so
Okay.
obviously the techniques change when the information is much larger to remember. So for example, we have just remembered say six numbers like 42,
Mhm.
56, and 368, right? So it's seven
Correct.
numbers.
Correct.
But the thing is, in my World Memory Championship, I had to remember and
Uh-huh.
recollect more than 2,000
I'm
numbers.
sure.
More than
I'm
2,000
sure. I'm
numbers.
sure.
So,
Yes. Yes.
what
Yes.
what we did is that we have come up with a better method. It's called the journey system, where in fact
Uh-huh.
we instead of linking one word to another word,
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
kind of build a system where you take a place. Like say, I take my own home,
Mhm.
and I have
Mhm.
locations in my own house, like starting from the
Mhm.
entrance gate to a garden to a hall to a puja room to a dining hall, etc., to a kitchen, and then
Okay.
I kind of store and map
Mhm.
every number into one location.
Acha. Okay.
So, for example, you say 42. I say
Okay.
that's the first number, for example, right? So,
Uh,
the first location is the entrance gate. So, as if a
okay.
rainfall is coming on the entrance gate. And then
Yes.
here
It
it's say
is.
56, that is leeches. As if leeches
Uh,
are, my second location is a living room. So,
okay.
once you enter the house, as if there are a lot of
Uh,
leeches in the living room. And then you
uh-huh.
say 36, that's a cricket match. Say as if you're playing a cricket
Okay.
match inside the kitchen, my third location.
Mhm.
Like this, we
Okay.
come up with locations and associate them with numbers and go in a
Okay.
systematic sequence. So that's when you
Okay.
kind of remember the numbers. And obviously, this is a lot of practice. It's not as
Yes. Of
easy as
course.
it sounds.
Of course
It's,
not.
it's a
Of
sport.
course
It's
not.
a sport. So you can
You
just like
know, that is,
badminton or cricket,
yeah,
it's
that
also a sport
correct,
and
correct,
you
correct.
practice. Yes, yes.
That is the reason why I did not give you a big number or a big sequence of numbers because I just wanted a simple set of numbers where I understand that how you really do that,
Yeah.
and the our listeners could also understand with a very simple example. Because if I gave you a complicated number, you would have done it very easily, but for our listeners and me, it would have become very difficult to understand. But with a
Yes.
small, just three set of numbers, I we just wanted to understand. But it's really brilliant. I mean, it's
Thank you.
amazing, and you have actually shown that how this is a sport
Yeah.
and not just an skill, and that you can actually practice and you can gain that skill and you can actually become a very good expert. The only thing that you possibly require is just passion for
Yeah.
and an interest and calling this as an hobby and whatever. So
In fact,
I'm sure
after I
that
mastered, yeah,
as many people who will hear it.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Huh,
In fact, after
sorry,
learning
go
this
ahead.
photographic memory, after kind of getting these techniques mastered, I also, so I love chess. I've always loved chess since my childhood, one of my favorite hobbies. So I started playing blindfold
Mhm.
chess, that is without seeing the board.
Ah,
So
wow.
basically, we have
Okay.
64
And how would
squares,
you understand
32.
what the opponent is doing?
Yeah, so we have 64 squares and 32 pieces, right? So basically, I
Yes,
memorize
yes,
the
yes.
location of every chess piece, and then I'm kind of blindfolded,
Mhm,
and then the opponent
mhm,
gives me his notation.
mhm.
Say, for
Okay,
example,
understood.
pawn e2 to e4, and then I say my
Correct,
notation.
correct,
So
correct.
like this, the game goes on
Yes.
where with
Okay.
every move, the chessboard changes, the whole placement changes with every
Yes,
move.
yes, yes,
So
yes,
I
yes, yes,
and,
yes, yes.
and ultimately we have to checkmate the opponent blindfolded. That is the target.
That, wow. That, that's brilliant, Nischal. I mean, talking to you, it just sounds like that I'm not, it's the kind of stuff that you have been able to do that, any person would feel that these are all impossible feats. If you give these statements to somebody that, can you play? I mean, first playing chess itself is so tough, then playing it blindfold, and then to beating the other guy. These kind of sound like impossible statements, but you literally have proven that nothing is impossible.
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you.
And that is such an amazing thing that you have been able to doing, and you would be an inspiration to so many people. And I really hope that your techniques, that your capabilities, and your word actually travels to as many people as possible, because I'm
Thank
sure
you.
there will be so many millions who will learn from that. So, Nischal, what has happened, we wanted to talk a little bit about, from the education side as well.
Yes.
But, just discussing with your feats and your capabilities, your skill sets, and etc., we just have spent so much time that, now I will shift to the other part of
Sure.
the podcast, because otherwise, my PR team is going to tell me that what were you discussing and etc. So,
Sure.
just hold on a second. ये बंद कर दो. हाँ, लेकिन अभी थोड़ी देर में मैं बुला दूँ. ठीक है, थोड़ी देर में मैं बुला. So, let me now quickly get on to that,
Sure.
so that we can cover that also. I really wanted to, hear your views about education. That how have you seen education change over, let's say, the last 10 years, 15 years? And where do you say, how do you see the education changing over the next 10 years and 15 years?
Very, very relevant question. So, first of all, I mean, everybody would agree that the way, say, our parents have uh, learned or with their kind of in their generation, and what, say, my generation have learned, and then the next generation, the today's kids, the alpha, right? Kids have are learning. It's very different. I'm talking about the way they're learning, the way they're grasping. I'm not talking about
Correct.
the way they're being taught. Unfold, that is the same. That's been the same. But the way
Yes.
they're learning it, the way the attention span, the kind of grasping skills, the level of intellect, the next
Mhm.
generation to generation, it's obviously we always evolve and become better species. So it is a fact that everybody is can accept that the today's generation has obviously is far faster than the previous ones. Even if you give a mobile phone
Correct.
to a 2-year toddler, they know how to figure it out. So the
Mhm.
thing is,
Mhm.
first of all, I've always believed that when the learner is changing, why isn't the teacher changing?
Ah,
So the
very good.
teacher should adapt to the learner's abilities, learner's
Mhm.
requirements, learner's challenges.
Mhm.
Today, learners not only have better ability, but also they have more challenges also. So,
Yes.
so every generation has a different set of challenges, different set of solutions, different set of expectations. So
Yes.
when the learner is changing and evolving time to time, every generation, why isn't the teacher adapting to the learner? We are kind of it's like a one size fits all kind of a formula we are following since many decades. It's not right. So so basically, the thing is, to give you a kind of a better insight into what we are doing. So at Nischal's, that's our education company, what I've started back in 2010 when I was just 15 years old. My it's been 14 years now. I'm
Mhm.
almost 28 now. So the whole
Mhm.
philosophy of the company has always been on how we can transform the conventional teaching and
Mhm.
learning practices, how we can
Correct.
transform the conventional
Correct.
pedagogical approach, the teaching methodologies, how we can make teaching and learning very much child-centric, very much interactive, more of hands-on learning, activity-based learning, more of experimental learning, how we can ignite that curiosity in the child, how we can emphasize on real-life application and correlate theoretical knowledge to the real-life scenarios, and also most importantly, how we can kind of enhance that logical thinking skills in the children and problem solving skills in the children, because today's learner, tomorrow today a first grade child who's 6 years old, 20 years later when he comes into the workforce of the country after completing his graduation and masters and everything, he is not expected to be a kind of a person who's just doing menial works. 20 years
Correct.
later, the world is going to change significantly, and he should be a problem solver, and he should have a highest order of logical thinking, higher order thinking skills, and he should be able to have an extremely in-depth knowledge on the subject so that he doesn't become indispensable with technology. That's the whole this thing. So today, what we emphasize on is not just clearing an exam, right? Not just clearing a board exam or not just clearing a competitive exam. We emphasize on how we can enhance that logical thinking skills, critical thinking skills in the children and ignite their mind. That's the most important focus here. And how we can make teaching and learning more fun, more enjoyable, more interactive, and practical, and more child-centric, as I mentioned. So we have basically what we've done is that first of all, whatever math lab we developed, obviously it has been adopted by many thousands of schools across India. It has really brought a revolution in the way math is being taught. Very proudly, we can say thousands of schools across India in more than 14 states, they're using our math lab. This kind of a positive feedback also inspired us to continue our research and develop many more educational products. And after almost 7 years of R&D we have done, very proudly we can say that we have also developed a very innovative range of portable laboratories, even for sciences like physics, chemistry, biology subjects, even for languages, even for social studies. And today, basically the whole approach is that instead of taking a child to the laboratory in a school, our portable lab comes to the classroom itself. So it is not taking a child to a lab, but bringing the lab itself into the classroom. And in the classroom itself, how we can teach every day, every concept with experiments in a practical way, every day. That is the whole philosophy. We developed thousands of experiments, thousands of instruments. It's a beautiful ecosystem of how we can change the quality of education in the school, the whole pedagogical approach. And more than 5,000 schools across India have implemented our labs, and many state governments have collaborated with us, and even government schools we are working in a big way, along with private schools. And a very compact ecosystem. Very sadly, today, more than 95% of our 1.6 million schools in India do not have laboratories, because the conventional labs require a lot of space, lot of investment, lot of operational inconvenience, so many things. So that 1,000 square feet of room, we have brought it down to a 2 square feet into a small cabin, and we got several patents for our laboratories, several patents from Government of India. I'm sorry, I believe you're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's amazing. And thanks for telling us that what Nischal's smart learning solutions do, because that was my next question, but you have covered that. And I'm, really amazed at the kind of work that you are doing. And I'm 100% sure that the kind of solutions that your venture is bringing in that practical approach. The thing which I wanted to ask you about was today there is a lot of growth in online education, right?
Yes. Yes.
What do you think is basically the future of online education? Where do you think the power really lies in online education?
So we have been a firm believer for the longest time that technology can change the face of education system. It can bring in revolutionary changes. I've always been a very, very firm believer. And uh, not just online. Online is a kind of a very common thing now. It is nothing new. So in fact, to be honest, even back in my school days, we used to surf the internet and learn something on Google. That has just become more accessible now because of the internet, because of the adaptability technology and affordability and so many other factors. But the thing is, more than just online learning, I have been focused on how we can integrate emerging technologies into education so that the whole way of learning becomes even more enriching and immersive. Very proudly, I can say that we have been one of the first education companies globally to integrate augmented reality, virtual reality, as well as AI into education. And based on these technologies, we have developed a vast amount of e-learning content, 3D simulations, 3D animations, interactive quizzes, so many things. We developed even along with our physical textbooks, what we have launched with Nischals, we have developed even 3D ebooks. So it's a first of its kind in the world, a 3D ebook where along with just the text, you have 3D simulations, videos, quizzes, puzzles, games, so many things. And we developed a vast library of more than 500 hours of 3D videos and more than 2,500 simulations. So, especially with virtual reality and augmented reality, the whole learning process becomes so exciting, so immersive, so enriching, and uh, the concepts which cannot be taught on a blackboard, which cannot be taught just with a laboratory also, which are not even visible to a naked eye, that can be brought to life with animation. So, like you want to explain about anatomy of a human body, how can you explain about the circulation of blood of in a human heart on a blackboard? Only the animation you can explain in depict in a much more better way. So, and also
Correct.
virtual reality, for example, we're learning history or geography in our ebook. So you can actually have
Correct.
walk experience into a world war or Egyptian civilization or into a Ashoka dynasty or anything. So that kind of an
Correct.
enriching experience a child can never forget. He will really enjoy, and that
Yes.
truly kind of manifests our ideology of joy of knowing. So joy of knowing is a company's tagline. So that's
Yes, yes, yes,
manifest
yes,
that.
yes.
And
No, that's great.
yeah,
I
thank you.
mean, so one aspect is that now a lot of classrooms, physical classrooms, also are now smart classrooms where they have internet connectivity and they can actually immediately show. But one statement which you had made earlier and it really caught my attention was where you were saying that if the student is changing, right, then why is the teacher not changing, right? The teaching methodology needs to change, etc. And there is something as a concept of, which actually is enabled by online education, that till date, we have always been thinking of that the student goes to a teaching institution, right? To a school, that he travels to a school and where the teachers are there and they teach him, etc. The online education actually brings the school to your doorstep. So the whole concept actually changes where it is not that the student, so which means that now students which who are there in the farthest corner of the country and etc., the school can reach them rather
Correct.
than the child having to traverse, tens of kilometers and etc. to reach a school and whatever. Today, the school can reach every corner of the country. So, which is where we feel that the online education can be so transformative in reaching the right education to the children, the right teachers to the children, and etc. So they are not limited to the teachers who are available in a gown, right? That the child is just limited to the capabilities of that teacher, but he can actually have the access to the best of the teachers that the world offers, and can be so transformative, etc. My next thing was on the online examinations, right? One, I would love to ask you that what is the first thing when I talk about online examination, what is the first thing which comes to your mind? And the second is that in the wake of the recent NEET examination fiasco, where do you think that online examinations technology or AI-based proctoring systems, monitoring systems, and etc., can be transformative for the way that the examinations are going to be conducted in the future?
Yeah. Just before I get into that question, one thing I wanted to emphasize is that so online education, as you rightly said, it kind of transcends socio-economic, geographical barriers to bring in the best quality of education to every remote corner. Uh, that's what we also do through our app and our content and everything. So most importantly, so one aspect is using AR, VR, all the animation and trying to give the best quality of education to every nook and corner. But at the same time, we have leveraged AI into understanding the learner's profile. So our on our app we have a completely AI enabled learning management system where learner's profile is kind of diagnosed in multiple parameters so that we can create a personalized learning path for them and also uh, understand the child's strengths and weaknesses and where he's good, where he's bad, see his historical performance and consistency, so many things. And accordingly, the corrective action can be taken. So when a school collaborates with us, along with our physical laboratories and the textbooks and the e-learning content and all these things, we give our learning app also where the teachers can track the child's progress on the dashboard and see subject wise, chapter wise, micro level analytics to understand the learner's profile so that the teacher can take corrective action immediately on the by observing the lab. So definitely AI is a huge game changer for understanding the learner's profile and personalizing the journey. Coming to online examination, 100% obviously, like now if you observe in the Western countries, and also take any competitive exams like GMAT or GRE or TOEFL, so many things. Now they're all actually online exam, a computer-based CBT, computer-based test, and eventually uh, the pen and paper exam also might, we can see that it will get kind of obsolete, and 10-15 years down the line, even even much faster, even our Indian competitive exams will get transformed from pen and paper to a CBT mode. So most of the exams, I'm very confident. So obviously the thing is, first of all, through a CBT and through our AI monitoring and all these things, we can significantly curb the malpractices and significantly curb any kind of unnecessary malpractice happening inside the institution, inside the center, because the way the questions come, the adaptive learning, the way the questions are jumbled, it is impossible for anyone to kind of even copy or even turn around your head and kind of understand what's happening, because you are doing it in a different pace and the sequence of questions coming for you is different from what's coming for me, and it is not practical. So the thing is, definitely technology has to play a bigger role, and AI will play definitely a pivotal role in monitoring the malpractices and curbing them in the future. And I'm very sure that very near soon, in a couple of years, all the pen and paper based tests will get transformed into a CBT in India. That's for sure. Yeah.
No, that's brilliant, Nischal. And, of course, we have gone beyond our time,
Yeah.
beyond the time that we had requested of you. But like I said, that it's been a brilliant learning experience for me today, Nischal. So you are not only a great mathematician, but and a highly talented, gifted person, but you're a great teacher also. I mean, I have learned so much from you today that I feel so happy of learning so many new things in our discussion, in our talk today. I certainly do look forward to, catching up with you sometime in the near future, not too long later. And there are so many things to talk about. And I would really, really love to really do that, have that discussion with you and learn even more from you.
No, absolutely. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for this lovely interaction. And definitely we should catch up again where I would be more than happy to actually show you our platform, show you our AR and VR content, our 3D ebooks, and all the technology we're leveraging. So very cool, fascinating stuff, and about the impact we're making around the country and globally. So definitely we will catch up soon. At the same time, one last message before I conclude is that to all the kids out there, especially the younger students and even parents, I've always believed that, as I mentioned earlier as well, a learner comes with a clean slate without any preconceived notions or misconceptions or anything, any hesitations or anything. It's a clean slate. So it's all about how we make the learning journey interesting and fascinating for the kids, and to spark that curiosity. And as a teacher, we should take that extra, we should go the extra mile and put an extra little effort. And also as a parent, we should go one step extra and try to make the learning journey as interesting as possible for the child, and always encourage the naturally born curiosity what a child has. So that is very, very important. Always encourage that. Don't suppress that. And I'm sure that once that curiosity is always, that the spark is always there, then you can never stop the child. Yeah. You're transforming the student from a learner to a seeker. So once you make him a seeker to seek knowledge, that's the best gift what you can give him. Yes, yes.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's a brilliant message,
Thank you.
Nischal, and thank you so much once again. And it was lovely talking to you, and
Thank you.
we'll catch up soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you.